let's see how we can utilize useMemo hook in React. So useMemo hook is utilized when you don't want to have a heavyweight API to get called or a heavyweight logic to be executed on every render. Instead, you want the memoized value to be displayed on your screen, which will boost the performance of your application. Let's see how we can do it. Here we have an empty component. Now let's use this to create the skeleton. Okay, now we have a simple skeleton. Let's see if it is getting rendered. Let's refresh. Yes, it is coming here. Now what I'll do is I'll put some simple CSS to it to make look little better. Name checker. Okay, and inside that we'll have two input elements. Let's say input. Here we have type text, then let's say placeholder, enter username. Okay, so we have enter username. Now similarly what we'll do is we'll put a country input. Okay, now let's put that here. This is enter country name. Okay, now I'll just put this console.log so that we can see both logs and this HTML. Okay, and here we'll put a simple HR, and after that we'll have another div which will be giving some data for user check. Okay, and here let's say later we'll put some data to it. Okay, now we're good. Here what we want to do is user will insert some username, and this will tell whether it is a valid username or not. That means let's say you are checking whether this is available or it is a valid username according to your database, right? Now for that we need to have onChange event. So let's put two onChange events for each of them. So let's say I'll put handle input here, and same handle input we'll put here to check this, right? So for country change we are not going to check it, we shouldn't check it. Okay, only for username we should check it. Okay, now let's create the handle input function here. Handle input, let's say this is the event. Okay, now what we'll do is we have the event. Now let's say name, right? So let's say let input name is your e dot target dot name. Okay, then value v equals to e dot target dot value. Okay, so if your name is equals to here, let's say we'll be giving a name here, name equals to username, and then here we'll have this element's name as country. Okay, now if it is a username change, then what we'll do a set. Okay, let's say set name, we'll create this function and this goes here. Okay, else if let's say name is your country, then you put set country. Now these two functions we need to create here. So we'll be utilizing the use state to initialize the state. Okay, and maintain it, right? So here name and set name, right? Initially it is use state hook, initially empty, and similarly we'll do for country use state. Okay, we are good. So we have these things, right? Now here we need to populate the value after checking it. So for that what we'll do is we'll put another value called check user, right? Initially it is false. Okay, if it is false, what we'll do is we'll put invalid If true, it is valid. Okay, so if you'll see it is false, so it is invalid. We are good. Now we need to check this user, right? So instead of this, what we'll do here, instead of false, we'll call a function, let's say expensive API call. This is a function, right? Now what we'll do is we'll create a function named expensive API call, right? And this function, let's say, will return true or false according to certain logic. So let's say we have first we'll just put a console.log to execution. Okay, so now if you will see, initially also when you are not doing any changes at that point of time, also when your rendering is happening, your expensive API call getting executed here, if you'll see in the log. Okay, now if we will put a name, let's say dip, you can see it is getting called. Imagine we have a lot to calculate or a lot of code to be executed, right? So to replicate that, I'll put a simple for loop with lots of values. Let's say this, and this is just for test. Okay, so if you'll see, every time whenever we are changing a value, this is taking some time. So if I'll increase this to something more, let's see if we can feel it. Yes, so if you'll see here, this is getting executed every time whenever we are changing a value in this username. Let's try for country name. Let's say India. You can see this is also getting executed. That means every time whenever you are changing any value of either country or username, this whole code is getting executed. And this we don't want to do it, right? Because every time you are changing any of this part is getting rendered. You think about there are a whole lot of logic under this, then your application will be slower. So instead of this direct call, what we can do is we can utilize the useMemo hook. Now let's see. So in useMemo hook, what we'll do is we'll take a callback. Let's see. So react.useMemo. Okay, and here we'll take a callback function and then call this, but when we have a change of name, right? That means whenever there is a change to this name, then only it gets executed. Now let's rerun it. Okay, you see, if I'll save and rerun and I'll change the name, let's say, see, it is getting executed, right? If you'll see 16 user messages are there. Now if I'll enter a country name, you see there is no change to this. It is still 16, right? Now if I'll refresh and do the same for this country, no change. So that means this function is not getting executed whenever you are changing the country name. It is only getting executed whenever you are changing the username, right? So if I'll put the bunker, you see it is saying we have made a mistake, greater than -1. Okay, now you can see valid, right? The functionality is also working fine. So this is the way to utilize the useMemo hook, which will give you memoized value if you don't need it. Just like country name, if you are changing the country name, it will render the memoized value in this section instead of taking the executed value from this function. Okay.